What's happening, guys? I think we are finally live. Let me just go ahead and double check this here. Let's see here. Rules for Rebels. Okay, so we're live, guys. What is happening? Don't really have an agenda for today. Just figured we would see. Let's pop out this chat here. Figured I'd hop on, hang out for a while. Got some free time this afternoon, so whatever you guys want to chat about, we can do that. And if anyone has any, I'm getting a lot of questions via email and stuff. Trying to catch up on things. I was out of town all last week, so if any of you guys have any questions you want to ask, anything you want to rap about, just let me know. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Okay, we got 4 people in here. So, Black Wednesday, guys, the day before Thanksgiving. I don't know if, hopefully you guys got some plans, got a long weekend here. I actually just got back from Aruba on Monday, kind of catching up on things here. I actually had to go into the office. I sold my share of my business to my partner a couple weeks ago, but had a couple end of the year tax things and things I was going to help him out with. So went in there this morning, and I actually just got off a phone call with a cool guy. I've talked about the dude from over Bounce Back, Life After the Penitentiary, Life After Prison, up and coming YouTube prison channel, really kind of inspirational guy. He's into eBay, Amazon FBA, other types of businesses. So I connected with him on his live stream today, and he said to shoot him over an email with my number. So I shot him my number. He gave me a call. So we chatted a little bit this afternoon. I think we might try to get him on the channel sometime early next week. And he kind of turned me on to an interesting podcast I've been meaning to check out as well. Let's see here. So let's see, what else can we rap about? So for any of you guys who are merch sellers, you guys may be aware of this, but something that's going on now that finally came around and affected me. So I had this one niche on Amazon merch that I pretty much had this niche all to myself. There were a couple competitors, but I was really kind of dominating a niche. Some of my t-shirts had over 20 reviews, consistently selling. And there's this thing going on Amazon merch right now where essentially I can send Amazon an email and say, hey, these 10 soccer t-shirts are all infringing on my right. I don't have to provide any proof. Amazon will take down those shirts. And then me, or I guess in this scenario, I'm playing myself as both people, but me as a seller, if somebody were to do that to me, I have no way to go back to Amazon and appeal it. What winds up happening is Amazon says, we're out of this. You go work it out with that person. Now, typically somebody will set up a burner email. They'll set up basically set up a throwaway email. Sorry, guys, I don't know if I was close enough to the microphone. They'll go ahead and set up a throwaway email address, send Amazon an email, say, oh, take down these 10 shirts or these 20 shirts, basically trying to knock all the competitors out of their niche. And again, me as the person who actually owns my own designs, created my own designs, free of any trademarks or copyrights, Amazon tells me go work it out with that person, who that person maliciously took down my t-shirt. So they're probably never even going to check that email again, let alone are they going to retract the claim or anything else. And it's a really bad situation because essentially it's going to it's kind of opened up a black hat method of just wiping out your competition. And what's kind of interesting about this is unlike a typical, DCMA takedown where I have the right to appeal it, because the way that Amazon is set up, so Amazon is essentially the party who would have to defend something because, and the reason for this is because they have to review our shirts before they go up. That's kind of the reason that everything's handled the way it is, as opposed to like a typical DCMA takedown. Like if I were to contact Redbubble and say, hey, you need to take this shirt down, they're going to want to see the original art file or a trademark or a copyright. And even if I do that and affect somebody else's shirt, they're going to have a chance to come back and respond and prove that, no, that shirt belongs to them. Well, kind of because of the way that Amazon merch is structured and because Amazon has the ability to kind of review our shirts before they go up. It doesn't really work in a traditional way. And right now it's just a really, really terrible situation where anybody can get anybody else's t-shirt taken down. So, it's kind of funny. I actually saw people selling my design and infringing on my stuff. And I had actually, believe it or not, was hesitant to do anything. They weren't showing up on page one of shirts. My shirts were dominating. My shirts, one of these shirts had 22 reviews. So I was like, these guys aren't even competition to me. I'm not going to get into a back and forth kind of, pissing match trying to get each other's shirts taken down. They can sit on page 17 of Amazon. I'm going to keep selling my shirts. Well, apparently one of these guys decided to kind of take me off the map. And this is an ongoing problem. If any of you guys are on the Amazon merch subreddit, you guys have probably heard person after person after person kind of complaining about this issue, but it's becoming a really big problem. And what's kind of scary about it is with programs like Merch Informer that allow people to find hot selling shirts, it's basically just going to turn into a shit show of everybody taking down each other's shirts. So, that's going to become kind of a nightmare here. Let's see there. So that's what I'm dealing with. So anyhow, long story short, majority of my t-shirt sales came from one particular, I won't say one design, but one particular niche. And I've pretty much I had like 9 or 13 takedowns happen over the course of a day or two. And I realized there was nothing I could do to stop it. So I actually wound up taking down about 150 shirts in my niche, just out of, perseverance, trying to maintain my account. I figure if this person wants to keep knocking off my good selling shirts, there's nothing I can do. If I keep getting more takedowns, my account's going to wind up getting closed down. So I wound up having to proactively take down a bunch of my shirts. I did just the other day file a trademark and a copyright. Nothing's going to move fast with that. It's going to be a matter of months before I get that, if everything's approved. And once that goes through, I'm going to bring the hammer down and fuck everybody up and knock everybody off of Amazon and every other platform with my shirts. But as things stand right now, merch sales are definitely going to be taking a huge, huge hit. I was normally doing like 50 to 70 sales a week. That action right there knocked me down to, I don't know, I think I got 15 sales in the last 7 days. So that really hurt the merch account. And it really sucks. My account was really starting to take off. Past couple months, been consistently doing over $1,000 a month in sales. Heading into Q4 here, I was really kind of anticipating things really kind of starting to explode, and that really took me down a peg. So that kind of sucks. Let's see, pop up the chat there. Let's see here. Okay, so we got 13 people in here. So somebody drop something in the chat. Let me know if this is working. I haven't seen any chats come through at all. Oh, hey, what's happening, Coco? Okay, just want to make sure we had some people in here. Let's see. I had to disable restricted mid-range to watch you. Hey, McNeil, I have no idea what that means. No idea what that means. Restricted mid-range mode. Yeah, I kind of hopped on this live stream without anything to really talk about. So let me know what you guys want to rap about. Hey, man, I read your Reddit post. Sorry about what's going on. I hope it works out. Any updates on that? Edgar, buddy. So, actually, you brought up a good point. Let me hop into Reddit here. I think somebody did a better job of me than explaining what the situation is with that. Let me see if I can find that here. Okay, so I kind of explained it, but essentially there's 2 different ways to take down somebody's merch shirt, and one, you can do it actually through kind of a drop-down questionnaire on Amazon, and the other one is just by sending in an email. Let's see, somebody had explained this. Traced. People are uploading art to a random blog. Oh, because here someone says people are uploading your art to a random blog and then making fake okay. So here's what someone's saying that people are doing is what a lot of people will do to kind of try to protect their merch designs is set up some type of blog or website that basically features all their shirts. And in that way, when they approach Amazon and say, hey, so-and-so stole my shirt, they can kind of refer back and say, hey, here's my t-shirt company's website where we list all our designs. You see, I had this shirt up on this website June of 2015. This guy uploaded it in 2017 to Amazon. He's stealing my artwork. And really the date is fake. Let's see. Okay, so here's where somebody explains it. Somebody says, as I mentioned in my previous reply elsewhere here, NBA does not follow quote unquote normal DMCA procedure because they have made themselves the liable party by reviewing / approving our content. On pretty much any other site, you could counterclaim and force the accuser to file paperwork in court or STFU, shut the fuck up. This is, as far as I understand, an outgrowth of the original intent of Amazon, of NBA, to be merch and not random novelty tees. So the review process is there to prevent fake merch. But due to legal precedent around DCMA, that makes NBA liable for the content it puts up, whereas platforms that do not check have no liability, but have a process for two parties to force each other to court. Whereas Amazon would be a party in court itself and provide us no process of forcing it in court themselves. So essentially, if I understand this correctly, what this gentleman's saying is Redbubble, I can email Redbubble and say, hey, this seller has my t-shirt up. And if he goes back to Redbubble and appeals it and says, no, this guy's full of shit, I'm either going to have to provide some proof to Redbubble or I'm going to have to take this guy to court. Well, because Amazon has put themselves in the position of kind of monitoring what goes up on the platform, the normal DMCA procedures for taking something down are kind of out the window. And now, like I said, anybody can create a throwaway email, just start blasting Amazon with, essentially taking down everybody in their niche. And what's kind of scary about this is like anytime you start to have success on Amazon merch with any t-shirt, any niche, anybody can come along and do this to you. And there's really no way you can defend against it. And even worse is not only, it's one thing if you take my t-shirts down, it sucks, but whatever. But potentially people's merch accounts are going to start getting suspended. In this particular niche, I probably had, 600-700 t-shirts up. It was my best selling niche. And, now I'm in a position where I'm pulling down my own t-shirts because at least to date, I don't have a copyright or a trademark on file that I can send to Amazon. That's assuming Amazon would even look at it. So yeah, just really, really kind of a messed up situation we found ourselves in. Let's see, read about your Reddit posts. McNeil, your thoughts on chatbots? McNeil, you talking chatbots for like e-commerce? It's kind of interesting. When I was at Ecom Chicago, they were kind of talking about chatbots. And chatbots, man, it's amazing like how good that technology is getting. And they did say if you're using chatbots, make sure you have a way that somebody can get in touch with a real person, because there's nothing more frustrating than getting like auto responses that aren't answering your questions. So I thought it was interesting. I was amazed by what chatbots can do. And pretty impressed with like the types of responses that they can give. Like chatbots can even provide you with your tracking number if people are contacting you wanting an update on shipping or something like that. But the one thing that they really stressed at Ecom Chicago was make sure there is some way to get an actual human. But that's kind of the extent of my knowledge about chatbots. Yeah, it is crazy how easy it is to get t-shirts taken down. How do I find the Reddit? Let me see if I can. Saturn, I just dropped a link to the Reddit discussion. There's a number of other. If you go over to that subreddit and use the search box at the upper right hand corner and search like takedown or something like that, there's a whole lot of similar posts and similar stories to mine. This is becoming a real big problem, and I think it's going to get to the point where Amazon is forced to take some action on it. But you know, as it stands right now, I mean, I hate to even say this, I don't want to see people do it, but like literally any of you could send Amazon a list of ASINs of competitors in your niche, and probably within a day or two, they'd all be down. Like it's really gotten that bad. Happy holidays, Lawrence, buddy. Yes, maybe implement anything from the tax lien. You know what, Thomas, as far as that tax lien course, me and my partner went to that introductory session about it. Sounded really interesting. They had really recommended our state, my state of Illinois, as a good state to get started doing this stuff in. Signed up for the course. It was, I don't know, it was $1,700 or something like that. Me and my partner actually wound up kind of running into a little bit of legal issues, and that kind of took precedent. We wound up having to cancel the course, kind of because we had some other stuff on our plate. So that was kind of the main priority at the moment. But another thing I realized about those tax liens is at least in my state, we're not really set up to do them well. The way these tax liens work is some states are lien states, other states are deed states, and then some states are a combo of the two. So essentially how these things work is, let's just say in like Arizona, for example, if you don't pay your property taxes after so long, the government is basically going to give somebody else a chance to buy whatever that tax amount is. And a lot of times you bid an interest rate as opposed to the amount. So I might say 17%, somebody else says 16%, somebody else says 15%. Whoever is the lowest wins. When they win, and again, it varies state to state, but for 1 year, 2 years, that person has a year or two to pay me back their back taxes plus the 15% interest that I bid. If they don't do that at the end of so essentially I'm either going to get the money I paid for their taxes back plus 15%, or I'm going to be able to take the house and then the house becomes mine. Other states are deed states where they just sell the house outright. My state is kind of a combo. It's a lien and deed state. But kind of the whole strategy that they pitched was don't actually buy anything at the auction. After the auction is over, everything that went without being bid on, essentially the scraps. You go try to find the good properties in the scraps. You go contact the county. You try to buy them from the people from the county for next to nothing. And that was kind of their strategy. Well, in my state, we're kind of a hybrid of a lien/deed state. So you can buy liens. I heard that interest rates in my state are typically being bid down to about 4%, which for the risk involved, for tying up your money for the work, for 4%, I mean, that's not really much better than like a money market account or a high interest savings rate account. So that part of it didn't seem appealing to me. When I went to try to learn about buying the stuff that doesn't sell after the fact, my state, they wind up hanging onto the properties themselves, and then they sell them at a deed auction at the end of the period. So essentially this organization, I forget what it was even called. I have to reference back to the video, but their entire strategy wouldn't work for my state. And that's one of the things you find when, I'm not going to say it was an outright scam, but they present things in like the most ideal possible light. And they had said, oh, Illinois is a great state to get started in. They recommended starting in your home state so you can actually go check out the properties. And, after kind of getting the course materials, I quickly realized that their strategy wasn't really going to work in my state. I really didn't feel like going out of state. And then we also had to cancel it. I had some other kind of more pressing issues with business and stuff that kind of took priority. So we wound up returning the thing. We got all our money back. So, I mean, nothing lost there. Does seem like that could be an interesting hustle, but it does seem pretty complicated. Lauren said, thanks in part to your videos, I've gotten started on merch and Redbubble and had moderate success. That's awesome, Lawrence. Are you are you designing your own t-shirts? Are you hiring designers? And also I'd be curious to know how Redbubble's worked out for you. Amazon merch has always been a #1 for me. Redbubble has been pretty good. I think I got my earnings on Redbubble up to like $170 a month, which is pretty good for like a non-merch platform. And, recently had this kind of setback with merch, but it is what it is, going to press forward. I'm still interviewing some graphic designers. I had found one guy, decided to hire him, and then I think he wound up getting busy with another project. So I wound up dropping him, but I'm using onlinejobs.ph. It's like $69 a month, but essentially you only really need it for 1 month to find one designer. And then once you find them, you can cancel their subscription. One cool thing about onlinejobs.ph is they do have some systems in place that you can actually track the screen time of people who are working on your designs and stuff. And if you're hiring somebody for 6 hours a day or 8 hours a day, there is some kind of checks and balances that say you can make sure they're actually doing what they say they're going to do. But really, I mean, once you hire somebody, if you know, after a couple of weeks, you probably figure it out if you can trust them, and then you don't really need, you know, to pay onlinejobs.ph $70 a month. Coco Medata. What do you think about the new Chicago entertainment tax? Apparently, video game stuff now has a 9% tax in Chicago. You know what, Coco? If I'm not mistaken, I think that tax has been around for a number of years. What's happening now? And I apologize, guys. I got back from Aruba on Sunday or Monday. I don't know if it's a change in temperature or whatever, but man, I've had the worst like sore throat and ear infection stuff ever since I got back. So I sound a little bit hoarse here. What's up? What's happening, TD Paul? So yeah, so in terms of what Coco Medetta is talking about, Chicago has had this like entertainment tax or whatever they call it for a couple years now. I wasn't aware of the video game stuff, but something that they started doing a while back was maybe within the past couple months, they started trying to tack that tax onto like Netflix. So before it was, you know, if you go bowling, if you go see a movie at a theater, if you go like taking a show in the loop or something like that, there's an extra tax. And I guess people who, I think they called it like a luxury tax or an entertainment tax or something like that. Well, what happened more recently, let me see if I can find an article about it. Chicago tax, Netflix. Okay, Chicago slaps PlayStation users with expansion of 9% amusement tax. Okay, here we go. I'll drop a link just in case anyone's curious what Coco's talking about. But yeah, I think, you know, once Chicago did it to Netflix, I think it's only a matter of time until they do it to, you know, Xbox Gold memberships and whatever else. But essentially anything that's not a luxury, anything that's not a basic need, anything that's entertainment related is going to start getting taxes. And again, it started off with like sporting event tickets, theater tickets, concert tickets, things like that. And then somehow they found a way to apply it to Netflix. And now I think pretty much any type of like online entertainment that you subscribe to, I think Chicago is going to start slapping it with that 9% tax. Chicago's out of control. You know, they got the I don't know if there's a straw tax. I know they had like a candy tax a while ago. And what's really stupid about this stuff is I know a guy who owns a store, and he was telling me like something like a Kit Kat bar. And this just kind of shows like how out of whack and how subjective these taxes are. A Kit Kat bar does not get the sugar tax or whatever else because there's a cookie in it and there's flour. I guess the fact that there's flour in it makes it immune from this tax, but other candies are hit with the tax. So like, you buy a Kit Kat bar, there's no extra tax. You buy a Snickers bar, there is an extra tax. It just makes absolutely no sense. Glad you caught me live as well, Paul. We got a good. I like when we get some of you. You know, it's kind of weird. I never really kind of scheduled these live streams. I always just kind of hop on randomly. And obviously, because I haven't scheduled them, I never have anybody in the room, and then I feel like I'm just constantly having to come up with stuff to talk about. So it's a lot more fun when I get you guys in here. We can kind of do a little bit more of a back and forth chat. Thanks so much for all your videos and sharing what you were doing. Thanks, McNeil. Appreciate you being in the room. Lawrence, have you ever heard of Redbubble accounts being sold? Where would one look to examine buying POD businesses? I understand there are risks. You know, Lawrence, if you want, buddy, hit me up at rulesforrebels@gmail.com. I actually have a kind of a whole catalog of POD stuff that I'm potentially looking to sell. I'm no longer selling this niche on merch, but I do have Redbubble, Society 6, Spreadshirt, TeePublic, T-Chip, Teespring all set up. You know, anywhere from 50 to 300 shirts within this particular niche set up across the platforms. And it's something that I've been toying with selling just because I've kind of done everything that there is. Basically, I've invested all the time that I want into it. It's bringing in, you know, a couple $100 a month across all the platforms minus merch. And I just don't really have the time to run with it any further. You may want to look at Flippa, Empire Flippers, honestly, most of the stuff that I see as far as people trying to sell POD businesses, I would be very careful buying them. Obviously, like technically, you're not supposed to sell Amazon merch accounts. People do. I don't think Redbubble is that strict. Ideally, if you're going to buy a print-on-demand business, try to get the sale to flow as if it were the sale of a business and not just a platform account. And what I mean by that is like eBay has certain rules. So technically speaking, you can't sell an eBay account. But if an eBay account is part of a larger business, you can sell an eBay account with the business. So I can't just sell you my eBay account, but if I have like ideally a brick and mortar store, but if I have kind of a whole line of maybe an eBay account with a website, with a Redbubble, a Teespring, whatever account, if I sell that overarching business, the eBay account can go as part of it. So if you are structuring a sale, I would try to do it by the book and present it as a business is being sold and not just a Redbubble account's being sold. And you may even be able to get the approval of Redbubble to do something like that. But that's another thing too. Anytime you're on third party, like look at what just happened to me on Amazon merch. I've been seeing Amazon merch accounts sell for so much, like basically sell for a 28 time multiple to where it's going to be like 2 years and 8 months before I'm able to recoup my money. So my Amazon account was making what, $1,000 a month. So let's say somebody had paid me $28,000 for my Amazon merch account. And then with the snap of a fingers, somebody gets 13 of my shirts taken down. I wind up proactively kind of pulling down some of my own t-shirts because I don't want any more problems. And now, I went from making $250, $300 a week to, I don't even know what I'm at, $15, whatever it is. You just paid the amount of money that's going to take you 2.5 years to recoup. And like that, the income changes. If somebody had bought my account for $28,000 and then what just recently happened to me, it went from being 28 months to pay back to, at this rate being 8 years to pay back. Like so much can happen. Everything with the internet moves so quickly. We just recently saw, what is it? Redbubble bought out, was it TeePublic? So much changes and so much happens so quickly in the world of the internet that if you're buying accounts, I would make sure you're buying them for an amount of money that you can recoup that pretty quickly. Emma Lanny, hey, I already have a blog and enjoy writing and creating a variety of types of visual content, but my goal is to monetize my passion blogging, but I've struggled to do so. So any advice on monetizing? You know what, Emma? I actually had an interesting discussion with somebody about this the other day. Somebody online was talking about, like, can you still make money blogging? Can blogging in and of itself be a business? And I had said, yeah. And somebody else said, like, no. Somebody else said, blogging should be a component of your business, but simply starting a blog with the intention of like making a full-time income isn't possible, or it's saturated or whatever else. One thing that's kind of crazy to me, there's maybe someone else can shout out Candace Owens. I think she started off on YouTube as opposed to blogging. But like one thing that always amazes me is how a seemingly kind of like no-name blogger or vlogger can go viral like that. And now that Candace Owens, like, she's working with Ben, what's that guy's name? Ben, whoever that young conservative guy is, she's working with him. She's on CNN. So you never know what can happen. You put yourself out there, you start creating content, you start kind of creating a presence online, and you never know what'll happen. One thing that I was kind of saying about blogging is I think a lot of people go into business or e-commerce and they find a product to sell, and then they're trying to sell that product to an audience. And I think kind of a better way of going about it oftentimes is find an audience or find a niche, figure out what they buy, and then find a product. So you're almost finding the audience and then kind of reverse engineering it and finding the product. And so one thing I really like about blogging is I think blogging or really just kind of content creation in general can be a good way to discover a niche, learn about that niche, learn about an audience, learn what their needs are. And then a blog could potentially turn into a product to sell or a service business or something bigger. But yeah, I'm a huge fan. If you enjoy blogging and writing or creating content, definitely do it. Put yourself out there and you never know what it'll turn into. But in terms of if you don't mind sharing, Emma, drop a if you don't mind sharing, drop a comment with what kind of the niche or the topic of your blog is. Let me see if I can show you guys something here real quick. I'm going to see if we can go to I was going to try to do a screen share with you guys. Let's see. Is it going to let me do that? Yeah, you know, with this new going live instantly feature, I don't think they're going to let me do a screen share, but just two kind of interesting ways. And this would be more kind of like if you're looking to do something kind of consulting related. But in terms of monetizing, there's an interesting site called clarity.fm. If you guys want, you can check it out. It's clarity.fm. Also, if you go to my blog or my website, rulesforrebels.com, it's still kind of a work in progress. And that's one thing I wish I had done sooner is kind of have a home base. I've owned the domain rulesforrebels.com for years. I used to be pretty active blogging on it. I was running a blog spot. Then I decided, you know, I need something better. So I went to Wix, was really kind of unhappy with how Wix was set up, was hearing a lot of really bad things about Wix. And once you get started on Wix, they make it almost impossible to export your content to WordPress or another platform. So then I'm like, okay, well, fuck Wix. I'm going to do Squarespace. Well, then I didn't like Squarespace, so I'm going to do WordPress. So then I move over to WordPress, and I'm like, oh, WordPress is kind of overwhelming. I don't like WordPress. Maybe I'll go back to Wix because at least I know how to use it. You know what, guys? Let me grab I got to grab a charger for my computer here real quick. Okay, here we go. But yeah, if you go on rulesforrebels.com and go to the coaching section, two kind of interesting pieces of software. So the first one is this clarity.fm. From your clarity.fm account, you can get an embed code. And man, I'm really mad. Let me see one more time if I can figure out how to do this screencast here. Live. Yeah, it's not going to let me do it, but essentially I've embedded right under where it says book a session with me. There's a button that says request a call, and it's essentially like a 900 number. You can set your rates. You can say I want $1 a minute, I want $2 a minute, $5, $10. One guy who really pushes this hard and does a lot of this is a guy by the name of Entrepreneurs in Cars. Some of you guys probably know him. He's kind of like men's self-improvement / entrepreneurship. But he does a lot of these coaching sessions through clarity.fm, and it's kind of a cool platform. There's kind of a Q&A section on there where people can ask free questions. And if you respond on there and you can, you know, kind of answer questions on there and kind of establish yourself as an expert. And then people can book calls with you. Now, I had one call a couple weeks ago. I think I was on a call for, I don't know, 20 something minutes. I got off. I think the call was like 120 something bucks. Clarity takes their fee for, you know, 18 or a 20-minute phone call. I wound up getting $100. And I think I provided a lot of value. I think the gentleman got a lot out of it. So that was kind of cool. There's also another feature at the bottom of my page there. And this is something I just kind of set up just to kind of play around. This is called Calendly. I believe they give you a 14 or 30-day trial. And it's actually, they have a free version. So if you're a podcaster, if you have a YouTube channel, if you do interviews or something like that, one thing that's kind of frustrating when trying to schedule interviews or like live streams, collaborations with somebody is, you know, say I'm like, okay, I want to do something with Glenn from Hustler Hacks. Hey, Glenn, are you free Tuesday? You know, I got to wait for Glenn to respond back. No, I'm not free Tuesday. Are you free Thursday? And then well, no, I'm not free Thursday. Are you free? You know, it's this whole back and forth. So if you look at the bottom of the page, it kind of creates a calendar. I can link it to my Google Calendar. The times I'm available, it'll be available. The times I'm not available will show as unavailable. And I actually have it set up to charge $200 an hour. So somebody actually has to pay before they book a session. And then, you know, we have an agreed upon time. They give me their Hangout link and we can connect that way. So if you want to be able to charge money through either PayPal or Stripe, it is like $12 a month for their paid service. But if you're just looking for kind of a personal calendar to use to collaborate with people, that's completely free. So, I mean, that's one way to monetize. You got Google AdWords. You have CPA offers, which would be like Flex offers, Commission Junction, or CJ.com, Amazon affiliate program, eBay partner network. You could come out with your own product. You could create a digital product. You could sell courses on Udemy. I'm going to assume that like whatever the topic is that your blog is about is something that you're kind of an expert about. And if people want to learn about that topic, you know, you could sell some type of digital information, some type of software, some type of spreadsheet, a lot of different stuff that you could do there. You're welcome for telling me about it. Well, let's see here. Let me scroll up and catch up on some of these comments. I'm doing TD Paul. I'm doing merch Amazon, and I got to find a reliable designer. The one I had for the past year and a half just turned out to be a scammer. He was from India, and I met him in a Facebook group. TD Paul, buddy, you know what? If you want, I'll tell you what. I'll kind of extend this offer to anybody on the live stream right now who wants to reach out to me. So I have an account on onlinejobs.ph. The last job I posted, I got like 177 respondents. Obviously, I only need one designer. I don't need 77 or 177 different people. So for anybody who is on the live stream right now, if you want to hit me up, I will pass. I'll shoot you back an email. Shoot me an email at rulesforrebels@gmail.com. I'll email you guys a list of designers, their contact info, and a link to their portfolio. That way you guys can check them out without having to sign up for onlinejobs.ph. You know, I take no responsibility for who's a scammer, who's good, whose work is good, whose work is bad. But if you guys are looking to get in touch with designers who are looking for work, shoot me an email. I'll shoot whoever shoots me an email. I'll respond back to each person with at least a couple of potential designers that you can use. And one thing that I found, just kind of a tip in, you know, I've done a couple of little trial weeks with some of these designers. Different designers have different styles. So some of these people who respond to me, most of their portfolio is like banner ads and web pages and things like that. They may be very talented designers, but they're not really t-shirt designers. They're kind of doing other stuff. Some people are t-shirt designers, but they may have a style that's more like cartoon or like anime or comic book-ish. Somebody else may have like, you know, try to find somebody's style who kind of fits the type of shirts that you're going to be making. Let's see, TD Paul or Coco. TD Paul, one idea might be to visit a local university and find a student that wants to start cutting their teeth. Many have existing skills. That's another great idea that Coco has. And I know Glenn, or not Glenn, what's his name? I'm having a brain fart. Young from Merch Minds. That's what he does. If I'm not mistaken, he actually works for Stanford. I think it's Stanford. He works for some university in the Bay Area. And that's where he finds a lot of his designers. And I believe he's actually kind of hiring out one of his designers to the YouTube community as well. But yeah, definitely. If you got a local community college, local college, a lot of times they'll have some type of online message board. Worst case scenario, you could print up a flyer, go to the student union or the lunchroom or whatever they have, post it on the wall, and, you know, see if you can find a student. College students typically have plenty of time. They're looking to make extra money. And probably looking to get some experience or some work to add to their portfolio. So that's a great tip from Coco there. Let's see, TD Paul, just food for thought. Anyone looking for a designer, just beware. I wasted time and money and didn't get much from that investment. One of his designs I found on Groupon. You know, that's another thing that I found. If you're getting work from a designer, always pop it into a reverse Google image search. See if, you know, just to make sure that the designs they're feeding you aren't stuff that they're just pulling off of Google Images. And then another thing I try to do, especially early on working with a designer, if I tell somebody I want like a baseball shirt, I'll typically try to throw in some like special things that I want to make sure that they're having to tweak the design, and that they're not able to just go find something online. And oftentimes when they give me a design, I'll be like, oh, I like that, but can we move this part over here and change the color of this? You just kind of start to get an idea of if someone who's just plucking like free vector images and stuff off of Google Images, you'll quickly realize it. So I always kind of ask for something very unique with the design, or ask for a revision on the design. And that way you'll kind of see who's good and who's kind of, like TD said, swiping stuff off Google Images. Oh, Emma, with the reverse engineering thing, you just gave me another idea too. If your blog's about, I don't know, soccer or whatever else, go look at other successful soccer blogs and kind of see how they're monetizing. I always think it's kind of interesting to see how people are monetizing things. This is a little bit off topic, but Big Herc, Life After the Penitentiary, one of the prison shows. You guys may have caught a video where I was talking about him. But just the way he's figured out, I mean, he has a YouTube channel telling stories about being in prison, which, it's a fascinating channel. He does a great job with it. I'm not knocking him, but like on the surface, like who wants to watch a channel about prison? I mean, people are fascinated with prison, but he has a line of merch. He does coaching and consulting for people who are potentially going into prison, how to survive prison, all that kind of stuff. And now he started doing care packages where he'll send you like once a month, he'll send you like a t-shirt or something from his shop. He gives you 10% off any merch that you want to buy, which is kind of encouraging future buys. He sends you like a commissary bag of like ramen noodles and some other stuff every month. I think he sends you a pair of like prison slippers. So I always find it fascinating. Like when you start looking around at what other people in your niche are doing, you're going to kind of see how other people are monetizing things. And that's kind of interesting. Like I said, I right before I hopped on this live stream, I got off a phone call with, I feel bad. I'm having a hard time remembering his name. I want to say Brian, Bounce Back, Life After the Penitentiary. I got off the phone with him and, he's got a fascinating YouTube channel. Check him out. Like I said, he did that interview with, actually, I'm going to drop a link to him. Let's see here. So I give this guy mad props, man. This guy, and here's one of the things that kind of sucks about YouTube when you're first starting out is obviously, I know a lot of you guys have run into frustrations with some of you guys were monetized. I know Mitchy Boy, I don't know if he's in here, but I know Mitchy Boy was monetized. And then when just dropped a link to Bounce Back, Life After the Penitentiary. But yeah, me and him just got off the phone, and he's not yet monetized. And it's kind of crazy, like I have 80,000 subscribers. And on a lot of my videos, I might only get 2 or 3 comments. And granted, like this channel isn't really so much an entertainment channel, so it doesn't necessarily lead to as many comments and as much engagement. But I mean, he's only got like 1,300, 1,800 subscribers. But man, like the amount of people that he gets on a live stream, the amount of thumbs up, the amount of engagement that he gets is insane. And his channel isn't yet monetized. And then he was asking me about live streams. And I said, I really don't do that many live streams. But he was talking about Big Herc, like Life After the Penitentiary, and he was saying Big Herc's making like $500 per live stream. He said, he hops on a live stream, $5, $5, $5, $10, $50, $100, and he gets off a half hour, an hour long live stream. He's got $500 in super chats. And I was asking him, I said, how do you do on your super chats? He said, I'm not, I guess super chats are part of monetization because his monetization isn't turned on. He can't get super chats. But he was asking me about that. I said, I really don't do too many live streams, even though I've been meaning to, to do more of them. But yeah, we're just kind of talking about different monetization strategies. And I don't really want to give away anything that he told me or give away any of his ideas, but it was kind of interesting talking to somebody else and kind of hearing their ways of monetizing. But yeah, look at other people in your niche. I think you'll get some ideas for how to monetize. See, right. Happy Thanksgiving. Hey, Shamrock Pixie. We got the Shamrock Pixie in here. So, I forget what her, let me see my Instagram here. I want to give a shout out to their Shamrock Pixie. Have you started your YouTube channel yet? resale. The Bargain Effect. So yeah, guys, check out The Bargain Effect on Instagram. I think they're going to be starting a YouTube channel. I had the pleasure of meeting them at Ecom Chicago, and during a lot of the breaks, we were out. A couple of us were outside, kind of chatting and getting some fresh air and stuff like that. They're from Wisconsin, I believe, so just up the road from me, and had a lot of good discussions. I know she was wanting to start a YouTube channel. And we had connected briefly on Instagram a while back. But Shamrock Pixie, if you haven't started that YouTube channel yet, I'm going to issue a challenge. Get out your first video by next week, and I'll go ahead and link to it in the community section of my channel if you go ahead and do that. But yeah, like, I had kind of talked about them before, but her husband had a bunch of awesome tips to share on product photography. And if you check out their Instagram, they do a great job of taking photos and kind of promoting their eBay goods. So that was really cool. Glad to see you in here, Shamrock Pixie. A professor told me a time when a local man had a court case and he needed help but didn't have money. He had a university, a law student. Okay, cool. Emma doesn't really have a niche. You know what's funny, Emma? I was kind of talking to somebody else about this the other day with not having a niche. So one of the worst things I think somebody can do is to do nothing at all. When I first started this YouTube channel, I didn't have a niche. I kind of joke about this. I remember I was working a retail job at the time, and I had a lot of downtime on my hands. And I had somehow got kind of curious about YouTube, but didn't really know the first thing about YouTube. And this was in the earlier days of YouTube as well. And so I kind of thought, like, I heard you could make money off how many people watch your videos and stuff. So back in the day, and probably still at the top right corner of Yahoo, this is back when everyone's using like Yahoo email, there would be like the 10 trending people or keywords or topics of the day. And back then it was probably like Paris Hilton or something stupid like that. But I would literally just like click their name, find kind of like a trending pop culture news story or article, and basically either just like read it or summarize it. And I would hold my hand over the back of the camera and just kind of talk into my phone. And it was like a black screen. I was basically just recapping articles, and it was complete garbage. But that kind of got me to take the initiative to start actually just putting content on YouTube. And then after that, I started doing reviews, and I think I was still too shy to go on camera. So, I would just like point my phone at this speaker and like do a product review of it. And, you start running out of stuff. So then I'd go to the dollar store on my lunch break and buy one of those cans of tuna and crackers. And I do a review of it. I think I do a review of like Nescafe coffee. And it's really amazing, like some of the stupid videos that wind up getting a ton of traffic. But I would say if you don't know what to start your blog about, just start a blog or a YouTube channel about anything and everything. And I've talked about like content diarrhea before, but just start like churning out content. And as you start to do that, you'll just naturally kind of start to find a direction. You'll also kind of start to see what content tends to get a lot of views and stuff like that. And, that's essentially kind of what led me into this current kind of channel that I'm doing now. So yeah, if you don't have a niche, it could be like a daily journal, could be recapping current events. Just start every day, or at least a couple times a week, 3 times a week or whatever, start creating content. And eventually you'll kind of settle on kind of a niche. And that's kind of one of the funny things about starting a YouTube channel, or even like looking at other people's YouTube channels, is kind of seeing the transition. The Casual Gamer YouTube. I'm going to drop a link right now. What's this? Oh, that's not him. Anyhow, I don't know. I'm having a hard time finding him. But there's this guy. I think his YouTube channel is called Casual Gamer or something like that. And obviously, at one point in time, it was a gaming channel. Somehow, it's evolved to he does like when KFC puts out a new sandwich, he'll do a review of it. He does reviews of like Core Water and all this other stuff. But really, with a lot of different channels, find a bigger YouTuber or somebody who's been YouTubing for a while, and then go way back and look at their YouTube channel at the very beginning. And it's really kind of cool to see the growth of their channel and kind of the improvement in production quality and professionalism. But also oftentimes you'll see that like the stuff they were making way back at the beginning is completely different than the stuff they're making today. What you don't understand is how does one get a designer from overseas and keep track of designs which are not copycat from other platforms? So TD Paul was asking, what I don't understand is how does one get a designer from overseas and keep track of them? So here's the thing is when you're hiring designers, at least a piece of advice I've been given by everybody is make sure to pay them well. I was talking to the Hustle Bee. You guys who watch Hustler Hacks may know him. The Hustle Bee, really successful eBay flipper. But he was telling me, like, he's actually from the Philippines. He goes back there and visits. And I was kind of asking him, I said, I was looking at paying somebody like $400 to $500 a month. Is that fair? And he was like, he's like a call center worker in the Philippines is probably going to make $350, $400 a month. So he's like, yeah, that's actually pretty good pay. He said, definitely pay them what they're worth. That way you can lock them down. If I'm only giving somebody peanuts, they're not just going to be working for me. They're going to be looking for other work, and they're going to be working with other designers, and maybe they're giving some designs to other T-shirt sellers, and maybe they're going to be giving my designs to somebody else, and vice versa. If you pay somebody well to where they're not going to be looking for other work, they're going to want to keep the relationship with you, and they're not going to want to burn that bridge by giving you stolen designs or anything like that. So I think early on, you got to be really diligent with making sure what they're giving you is original work, and you're really going to need to kind of stay on top of them. But I mean, once you guys been working together for a couple of weeks, once you kind of got a rapport with them, they're not going to want to fuck it up if you're paying them good money and you guys have a good relationship. Emma says she really enjoyed Squarespace. Squarespace is cool. I had actually looked into Squarespace a while ago. And the one thing that kind of turned me off from Squarespace was at the time, I believe they only worked with Stripe. So my thought process was if you set up an e-commerce business with them and either Stripe won't let you take payments or Stripe closes your account, you now have an e-commerce store on a platform that only has one payment processor that won't allow you to use them. I think since then, now they integrate with PayPal and some other solutions. But I love Squarespace. Squarespace, actually, I'll show you whose website I really like. Glenn from Hustler Hacks actually uses Squarespace for his website. I just dropped a link in the chat section. Check out his website. I think he's got an awesome website. And he used Squarespace to design his. But yeah, I think Squarespace makes some really clean looking, nice websites. I actually set mine up with WordPress, and I've never been super comfortable with WordPress. But what I did was I used the Sydney theme, which is actually what Entrepreneurs in Cars uses. I tweaked it a little bit, and I think it might actually come with Elementor. For anybody who's tried WordPress in the past and is like, oh my gosh, it's way too confusing, they do have page builders. I know WordPress just recently did an update to Gutenberg. I think that's still kind of in beta testing, but essentially, from my understanding, it's going to turn WordPress into kind of a drag and drop, point and click, a little bit more intuitive. Somebody else drop some info or drop a line about Gutenberg if I'm not explaining it well. But you also have other things like Divi and Elementor and Beaver Builder. And basically, they turn WordPress into like a really easy to use, user-friendly kind of interface. So I can say, okay, I want a 3-column or a 2-column layout here. I want an image here, and I want text here. And you can pick these different like types of content blocks. Makes it super easy to design a website. Mine, rulesforrebels.com, still needs a little bit of work, but I've gotten farther than I ever have before in WordPress. In the past, I've always had to hire WordPress developers or designers because I could never figure anything out myself. So I can't say enough about Elementor. And Sydney seems to be kind of a pretty flexible theme to use. So that would be my recommendation if you're looking to start playing around with that. Amazon affiliate links on your blog might be a good thing to look into. I see people post a lot on Pinterest, which links to there. Amazon affiliate. The Amazon affiliate program is a great way to get started with affiliate marketing. Everybody has an Amazon account. People really like ordering on Amazon because of Amazon Prime. My one beef is, man, like the 4% commission is just especially considering like most products on Amazon are probably under like 35 bucks that people buy. I think the biggest Amazon commission I ever got was somebody bought a pair of black pearl earrings for like 500 bucks. And that was like a $50 commission or something like that. They wound up returning them, so the commission wound up getting taken back. But unless you have a ton of traffic, it's really hard to make good money with the Amazon affiliate program. You know, there's some other affiliate programs where you can make $25 a sign up, $50 a sign up, $100 a sign up. So I love the Amazon affiliate program for the flexibility, but it's typically kind of the last thing that I'll go to. Yeah, definitely use the Amazon Associates program. There's also a program called VigLink that I believe you embed their code into like the footer of your blog, and it'll automatically insert different affiliate links to relevant words when they have a partner. So VigLink might be something to look into as well. Let me see if I can find a link to that. Dropping a link for you, Emma. VigLink. Oh, they're not going to let me drop that. Okay, they're not going to let me drop it, so I'll just type it in there. Oop, I can't leave here. Oh, never mind. I guess VigLink did post. Ever heard of somebody paying a VA to use social media to promote their merch? Redbubble, I think it would be a waste of time, money. Yeah, I mean, I guess, there's some VAs you can get out there. If you're looking to get a VA who is a designer, which is a skill, you're going to pay a little bit more than just somebody to do busy work. And if you're able to get somebody for like $1 or $2 an hour, I suppose it couldn't hurt to try. But yeah, I don't know if you'd see a big return on your money there. Thomas asked, any plans to do another book club series of videos? Actually, I got a couple books I was thinking about doing. I'll be right back with you guys. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Hey guys, I'm sorry. I don't know how long we've been without sound for, but my microphone has a really sensitive mute button, and I think that got hit when I was shuffling around here. Somebody drop me a comment. Let me know if we got okay. Sound is back. Shamrock Pixie, thank you so much, guys. Let me show you something real quick. So this is the this is an older blue microphone. This is like before the blue snowball. And I don't know if you guys can see this right here, but that little button. So I think we had hit that. That's why we kind of lost the sound there. Sorry about that, guys. I think I was with no sound for a while. Shamrock Pixie hit me up on Instagram. Dude, you got no sound. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Man, no sound after we got the book. Oh, so you guys missed everything. So I don't know where we cut off, but I had mentioned Tools for Titans. Cool book, worth checking out. Not necessarily suitable for like a book club type format, although I had talked, it's really short chapters. Tim Ferriss got a bunch of like the best people in health, wealth, business, etc. to share tips. Really great book. I might do some videos kind of breaking down some of those tips. We got Gary V crushing it. Again, I apologize. I forget where I left off there. But essentially what I was saying was after this video drops, because right now these live chat comments are going to go away. After this video is permanently posted, drop me a comment with maybe a book that you've been wanting to read, a book that you've been meaning to read. And I'll kind of take a look at all of them. I'll throw up a survey on the community section of the YouTube channel, and we'll let you guys vote, and we'll do another book club because I've been meaning to do the same thing. I got a whole list of books here on my phone that I've been wanting to cover. And I thought that MJ DeMarco book club that we did a while back was kind of fun. So we'll definitely do that again. Drop me a comment with what books you guys want to see. And do me a favor, guys. Anyone in the room, hit the thumbs up button. Let's see. Book looks great. Think he's drunk. Look at all the booze. Roland, you know what? Oddly enough, I'm not a big drinker. My girlfriend's brother, he's more the drinker. Every time he comes over to my house, he brings a case of beer or a bottle of booze. And it's, a lot of people, when you go over to someone's house, people always want to bring their booze back home. And my house is like the safest house ever to leave booze at because I'm not a big drinker. But I think I've shown this one off before. If I am going to drink, it is Casa Dragones. So this stuff is like the best tequila you can buy. This isn't the bottle. My girlfriend's brother actually was just at his wedding the past weekend. But when he asked me to be one of his groomsmen, he gave me a bottle of this. I would never buy it for myself. It's way too expensive. But each bottle is hand-numbered, hand-signed. And this bottle doesn't have it. But on the other bottle I had, there's like this really detailed like etching and engraving. And every bottle's hand engraved. I think they got a video on YouTube showing how they do it. But this is Oprah's favorite tequila. And I love drinking this stuff. My girlfriend always yells at me. She says it's only for special occasions. But yeah, actually, I'm not a big drinker. I'm more of a smoker. Kind of interesting, totally off topic. But since we're just kind of wrapping here, just got back from Aruba, and beers in Aruba are expensive. They got kind of their local beers are Balashi, another one called Chill, which is made by Balashi, and then because it's a Dutch-owned island or whatever, Amstel Bright as opposed to Amstel Light. And the local beers are a little bit expensive, not crazy. They're 7 ounces as opposed to 12 ounces like an American beer. So like if you get a can, it's like a Red Bull can. The bottles are these kind of cute little baby bottles. But if you want American beer down there, man, are you going to pay for it? My girlfriend's brother, he's a big Coors Light drinker. And so he broke down and wanted to get Coors Light. Well, it's kind of his honeymoon trip, even though there was like 13 of us there. But he bought a case of Coors Light, Guess how much, if somebody can guess how much a case of Coors Light was down there. I was trying to think what I'll give you. Somebody can guess how much a 24-pack of Coors Light was down in Aruba. I will give you, I'll buy you a free book for whatever book we do for the book club. So feel free to drop a comment. take a guess on the price that he paid for a 24-pack of Coors Light. Now, I'll go check that out in a minute. If anybody, I'll tell you what, whoever guesses the closest, I'll buy your book for the book club. So to start dropping your comments for that. Let's see. Rebel, you're going to have to do all that over again. I read lips, but not that well. Can't hear anything. Oh, shoot, he doesn't realize. Can anybody read his lips? The true fan stands are still here. I think he said tacos. I do love my tacos. YouTube doesn't have live captions yet. Hey, Dutch, thank you. I appreciate the kind words, brother. Shamrock Pixie, $35. 36, 45, 12, 150, 28, $67. You know what, McNeil, it was $68. $68 for a 24-pack of Coors Light. I think you can get that on at Target for, I don't know, $18.99 right now. McNeil, drop me or shoot me an email, rulesforrebels@gmail.com. I'm going to go ahead and set your email to the side. And when we settle on a book for book club, I got you covered. I'm going to buy your book for you, have it sent to you. Yeah, I couldn't believe that. $68 for a case of Coors Light. So if you ever go to Aruba, hit the duty free, buy your booze there, and bring it to your Airbnb or your resort. We stated I was going to make a video showing the. I really wish we could do a screencast here. I'm going to drop a link to the Airbnb we stayed at. It's the most insane, probably the coolest place I'll ever stay in my lifetime. Just dropped a link to the Airbnb. This place, man, it was almost like a compound. We weren't on the beach, which kind of sucked. I do like being on the beach. This was kind of inland. You're kind of in a desert area. But the whole thing is a compound. It almost looks like a hotel. There were 13 of us staying there. 2 swimming pools, hot tub, beach volleyball court, outside dining area, pool table, sunken living room, like a Zen cave, a yoga studio, an outdoor gym, hammocks all over the place, outdoor beds with mosquito nets. Like, this place was crazy over the top. And it was expensive, but I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was, I think, $900 a night. We had like 13 people staying there, and I actually got to stay for free. Long story short, my girlfriend's girlfriend came into some money, wanted to do like a big birthday bash, so bought this house and basically told everybody, book your flights, buy your food. I got the house covered. So yeah, like 13 of us went down there, spent a week down there, had an absolute blast. But yeah, if anyone's ever looking for a spot to like have like a big family reunion, or some type of, like, if you got a company, some type of like little outing for your company or something like that, can't recommend the place enough. Really awesome spot. The hosts sent over a birthday cake for the birthday girl, but yeah, really, really awesome time there. Let's see, we got 17 people in here. What is it, 4:46? I'm gonna hang out for a few more minutes, guys, and then I got to clean up the house and go to Costco. I think I'm responsible for an appetizer and cookies tomorrow at my Thanksgiving, so I got to run out and grab some stuff in a little bit here. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to rap about anything else. First time catching you live. You know what, Possum Slim? I actually haven't done a ton of lives. I've kind of talked about this before. I haven't always been like super comfortable on live streams. If I really appreciate everybody being in the room and chatting. Otherwise, it can be a little bit awkward, kind of keeping the conversation going and stuff like that. But definitely want to do more of these. Been really fun chatting with you guys. My coffee is so cold now. Yuck. Let's see here. Checking a couple more things here. Gonna make sure McNeil sent me copyright complaint. Okay, guys. So you know we've been on here about an hour and 15 minutes. I'm getting a little bit hoarse, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off. But I definitely appreciate everybody stopping by. I appreciate everybody keeping the conversation going. It's been fun. I'm gonna try to start doing these more often. Maybe I'll do it like once a week, and we can all kind of chat and catch up, and then also just kind of make myself available if anybody wants to ask any questions or anything like that as well. But Really, really appreciate all you guys stopping by. Really appreciate all the comments and you guys kind of keeping the conversation going. Makes it a lot more fun. McNeil just sent me an email, so got you there. Again, I got your book taken care of, McNeil. And after the video is finished, guys, do me a favor, drop me a link, or drop me a link. Either drop me a link to an Amazon book, or would probably be better just to drop the name and author of the book. A lot of times links get blocked by the spam filter. But go ahead and drop me the name of a book that you've been wanting to read, and maybe we can all kind of read it together. I know that helps me out, having some accountability. Otherwise, sometimes I'll start a book and I won't finish it. Sometime early next week, probably Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I'm going to have Bounce Back, Life After the Penitentiary on here. The guy's got a really fascinating story, and he's also a hustler as well. We were talking business and stuff today. So I think you guys will enjoy hearing from him. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Channels like yours make it possible for folks with no entrepreneur friends to bounce ideas off of. Thomas, buddy, I appreciate it. I love talking to people about entrepreneurship stuff, and that's kind of what me and Bounce Back were talking about earlier. I said I was really wanting to talk with you. I love chatting with other people. I don't have a lot of friends in real life who are into like entrepreneurship and business and stuff like that. And it's really fun and really helpful and really informative to have people to kind of bounce ideas back and forth off of. A lot of times your idea might spur an idea within me, and we can kind of share tips and share ideas and stuff like that. So I love that stuff as well. Rich, what do you do? Rich, I actually just sold my company probably, I don't know, 3 weeks, a month ago. So I'm actually kind of looking for my next thing to do. I guess right now you could say I am full-time YouTube and selling t-shirts, although that's not really traditionally. I've always been e-commerce, eBay, Amazon, FBA, but I sold my interest in my business to my partner, and I've kind of moved on. So I'm kind of looking for my next hustle here. So right now I'm just kind of hustling. One other thing I wanted to throw out there, I've been getting a little bit more interested in the concept of podcasts and stuff. If any of you guys out there have been maybe thinking about starting a podcast, looking at doing a podcast, I think podcasts are a lot more interesting. I think it's a different dynamic when you have more than one person. So there's more of a conversation as opposed to one person just rambling. So if any of you guys have had an interest in starting a podcast, feel free to reach out to me. I was potentially maybe looking for a partner to start a podcast with. So hit me up if anyone's interested in that. McNeil, I got your email, buddy. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. I'll be on soon for another live stream. We can wrap and chat again. If any of you guys want, shoot me an email, rulesforrebels@gmail.com. If anyone's going out drinking for Black Wednesday tonight, be safe, take an Uber. I hope everybody has a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. And thanks again, guys. Really appreciate all of you. Happy Thanksgiving. Later, guys.